Welcome back, folks, to the VIA Pinstriping page. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching. So this is going to be another part to the multicolored scroll design that I'm putting on this skateboard. And today we're going to put a little bit of some purple, which is a custom color that I mixed up. It's basically proper purple one-shot and a little bit of violet added to it to just make it a little bit lighter. So the idea with this color for me right now is to go back to a slightly darker shade than what I've already put down, which is that orange. And this will lean me back towards the red a little bit and get me set up with a little bit more darker tones before I go full yellow, which will probably be my next color. Now, I really don't know exactly how many colors I plan on putting on this, so we're just going to play it by ear. And I'm just going to overlap scrolls in ways that I feel like look okay. And you know, again, this is very much an opinionated idea of putting so much into one design. But I figured, you know, when it comes to this art and doing stuff at the house and you know, not really working on customer stuff, it's really okay to kind of give it a shot and see what you can come up with and experiment. Because if you can't do it at home on your own, you're probably not going to be able to do something crazy on somebody's vehicle. So experiment at the house while you can, while you have the opportunity, and avoid little mistakes like that blob there. But whatever, we'll keep it. We're not going to be so anal about it that we're going to throw stuff at it. So what I'm doing is just adding weight where I feel could add to the design, and putting these little feather-esque doodads. If you ever get some bubbles, I just blow on them. I saw that in a video Steve Kafka did. Shout out to Steve Kafka, one of the founding fathers of this art form, and pretty much the creator of this particular style. Shout out to Steve. I pretty much use his brush exclusively. It is a staple of my arsenal, and I am having a hard time with this paint right now, but we're just gonna keep on going. I've made the decision that I'm gonna film, and folks, just gonna live with it. Whatever happens, happens. I think it might be because I'm used to being shifted over here and my palette's really far away. But I have my normal camera stand somewhere hidden in a closet, and I need to pull that thing back out. So you see I get these little heart shapes here and there. You can branch off of them and work a different way if you'd like. So let's see, you could put 2 scrolls off of one of those teardrop or feather shapes. You could put multiple scrolls. Like here I had some going out and then some coming back in right off the same point. So they really can be branches to a lot of different routes. Here, let's just pull something that goes, let's see. Let's pull something that comes back in like this one. And then I'm going to push down and then pull back up to get that nice little point. And then I always, because I like to make them nice, let's go over any jagged-ish areas, right? And let's just do another one that goes a little further out, just to have some more strands out there. Now, I know the general rule is to start with the darkest color and work your way out to the lightest color. That's the general rule with pinstriping. But I have seen many instances where that rule can be broken. And you can kind of go in between, in my opinion, making your own negative space. Because negative space is where there isn't any paint. But if you go back over some spots there with a little bit of a darker color, it's, to me, almost like giving another dimension beyond the negative space and the lines themselves. And with this particular style, it really works off of the different colors that you use. And I'm not going to go too crazy with this purple. So I put some here, I'm going to put some here, and then I'll re-evaluate the situation. So I think I'll do something here. I can't really see where I'm going, but we're going to give it a shot. As always, I'm trying not to put my head in the camera. So I'm going a little bit blind. And I'm just going to fill this in. Now, I'm not quite fond of how that red peeks out of there. I feel like it would be a little cleaner if I was to cover that up, so that's what I'm going to do, is just make this a little thicker, and now that stands out on its own a little better. Now I'm going to put another one about the halfway point. I pull out, push down, and then lift back up as I come around. You get that nice fine point. And what I'll do is I'll give it a little bit more of a shoulder. That's like the head, and this is like the shoulder, and taper off on the body. And that gives you that little feather effect. A lot of the guys that I seen doing this style were based off of Arizona, California, and such, and it's just, man, it's just stuck in my head. As soon as I saw it, I wanted to learn this style. I actually learned how to do old school and traditional afterwards, because this was just the jam for me. So I got like the orange swirl going this way. I'm going to see if I can make something that kind of cuts through this area. So, you know, a lot of the curves and moves that are in old school, they sort of apply with this in a roundabout way. So you get a lot of S curves, a lot of C curves. These are just basically glorified S curves. I'm paleting my brush to try to get it just the right consistency. And what is the right consistency? It's like a unicorn, folks. You just gotta find it yourself. It really depends on the brush. Sometimes it depends on the temperature. Sometimes it depends on the paint. It depends on the style, depends on the particular stroke you're about to do. If I'm going to do a teardrop, I am not going to palette the same way I would a thin line or a scroll. I'll palette very heavy. If I'm going to do a really tiny line, same thing. If I'm going to do a longer line, something different. So, I like the way that whipped. I feel like I would like some more weight here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come off of this and just make that whole thing thicker. Instead of just, we're going to give this whole thing a nice little body. Just to where it stands out a little bit more. And it leaves that nice tail. Because I'm really competing with this orange and red. I kind of like it. I probably could have done more of a S, but we're just going to leave it as is. And maybe branch out with some of these out here. I think what I'll leave this alone for a second, and I'm going to jump to another spot that caught my eye, which is up here. Now with these teardrop shapes, these basically can become anchors for more elongated ones that come out off these tips. And I'll show you later with the next color. See, I've paletted heavy because I know the tip is going to take a lot of that paint off, and as I go it's going to become thinner. So I palette heavy when it comes to these, and it also depends on the length of the stroke. Like, I'm not even going to repalette for this one. See, you got enough paint on the brush, and that gives me a nice a little group of things that I could grab off of if I want to keep twirling that. And you'll see that, like I said, on the next color. Now if I do one this way, I try to find a spot to do it the opposite way to get it still gives me that twirl. Everything I'm doing right now, I'm kind of thinking a little bit ahead, assuming, well, knowing that I'm going to put down another color. So now this one looks a little fatter than the top one, so I'm going to just fix that and give this one a little bit more of a round shape. A little bit more consistent. All right. Now yeah, so I'm not really liking the way this particular area went, so let's take a little bit of mineral spirits. And that's the good thing with working on already dry paint and a background that can be wiped, is I can now take this off and go a different route with it. And you know what, folks, don't feel bad wiping. Shout out to Kate Cook. I seen something she put on Instagram where she said basically the same thing. You know, sometimes you just gotta wipe off what you don't like and start over. And if it's just not working that day, Don't even stripe that day. Just take the day off, because you're just going to frustrate yourself to death. There are some days where it just ain't happening. I try to blow off that haze, that way it doesn't start to eat into the paint. Especially if this has only sat around for a day or so. The sooner that dries up, the better. Alright, so I didn't like the way that went. I think what I'll do is maybe I'll just give it a sharp twirl. I could also do another of these kind of a heart shapes. Let's try that. Let's do a little bit of a heart shape, give it another circle, and come around into this empty gap. Let me get my paint right. Oh, I did want to make an announcement before I make a video about it. There is a collective of pinstripers that are going to be in an exhibition at a prestigious museum, and I was chosen to be one of those pinstripers. Extremely excited about it. I've shared some stuff already on Instagram and Facebook, and it is going to be from April 11th through June 27th at the Butler Institute of American Art in Youngstown, Ohio. It's going to be, I think, around 35 artists, 35 pieces of work, and it's all pinstriping, folks. It's the very first time in history where pinstriping's got its own exhibition in a fine art museum. Man, them things are getting globby. See all them globs? Whew. I don't know if I can fix that. Man, that's ridiculous. Alright, let's just see what I mean about having to wipe it off. Let's just get rid of that. That was silly. Maybe today's one of them days, folks. We'll just get rid of it and we'll try over. Maybe that wasn't the spot. Maybe that wasn't meant to be there. Let's try it a different route. See, a lot of these moves, if I wasn't filming, I probably would turn it this way and I'd get a little bit more of a better handle on the situation the way I want it. But because I need this to be stationary, I'm kind of doing funny things. For you folks, so y'all can watch the process. And this isn't something that's for anybody. This is just basically for filming, educational purposes, to document the way I do these and how I go about messing up a design. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go out here and give it a whole nother arm. Somebody, if y'all want, you could play that Aladdin song where he sings about a new world. That's what we're doing here. We're going to create a new world with this. I did go, this way? Now I'm going a little bit further up. So we're not even going to give it another one. We're just going to hit that hard loop here. Tuck it back into itself. Right. And And let's see here. I think we might add another bit on the inside of this one. I like how this one's nice and fat. We might do the same thing here. Come out, push down, lift up, and I'm just going to make that one similarly thick and just fill in the gap. If you feel like it's going to run on you, just blow on it a little bit. It should stay in place. From here, because this thing's by itself, I'm just going to try something real fast. Can't hurt. Come around here, push down. Just to make sure this color is well represented out in the outskirts. So we got a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit coming out here. Feeling alright with the way it's kind of flowing. Now let's give it some life on this side. And we have this section here. So I like to do these things. I don't know where I saw it. It might have been watching Bugs or one of them fellas, but I notice if I make two of these going into themselves, one a little taller than the other, not exactly the same, it kind of gives you this almost like a flame, right? Like the top of a flame. I don't know if you could see it. See, I've done it here, right? It's almost like the top of a flame, like it grabs like a claw. And sometimes I'll try to utilize one of the next colors to do that. So I'm going to show you what I mean here, because I'm about to do it with this purple. I try not to do it too many times with the first color. That way it gives me a chance to do it with the remaining colors. So you see I have this one that goes in, out, and then back in. I'm going to do the same thing here, but make this one just a little taller. And let's see if this paint wants to work with me right now. Now, the flow issues that I'm having with the paint really doesn't matter the brand from what I could tell. It just happens sometimes. You can either change colors or change brushes or try to change the atmosphere and work in a different environment, or you could just kind of get through it. It's just something you gotta deal with sometimes. Right? So now I sort of have this claw going. And this side is a little daintier, so which I don't mind. So I'm gonna put this one, whoops, you know what, we'll just leave it there. Sort of crashed into it, but we'll call it a happy little mistake, like what's his name did? Your boy Bob Ross. I've heard people say I'm the Bob Ross of pinstriping, which is pretty freaking hilarious. I remember watching him when I was a kid. Correction, I remember falling asleep to him as a kid. Alright, so we're going to do a big long loop and see where it goes. Let's see if I have to erase this or not. Alright, I got a little funny there, but that's probably where I'll just make it thicker. on through it, folks. Paying my dues, as they say. I did use this brush earlier to work on a truck. Maybe it's tired. Alright, we'll live with it. I'm not going to fix it forever. So, got some here, got some here, got some up here. I feel like we need something in the top right quadrant, whatever that word is. And I think what we'll do, maybe we'll pull something off of here that just comes out. Or I could scroll off of here, come around like so. That would be a little bit more dramatic. From here. But there's a chance I might hit that other one. You know what, folks? Life's a risk, right? Like the movie. Life's a risk. Got a nod. We're gonna go around here. Hit this loop. Right. So there I started to lose it. As you can see, these aren't very big loops. I'm just having a hard time today. And right here is where we're going to give it the head of the wheat. Alright. I think I'm just going to add a little bit more weight here to where it's not so thin. And luckily I didn't leave a big old glob in the beginning there. And I think I'm still going to pull one off of here. I'd like to see it come out more. So maybe come down, up. I'm going to do a couple of those, I think. All right, so it's a little heavy on this side. Clearly my fault. But it flows, whatever. Fuck, I don't like it, folks. I don't like that part. So I could always take that off. Let's take a good look at it here. We'll leave it. We'll leave it. That orange went down super easy. This purple, giving me a pain in the neck. So, see, we did those. Trying to think of where else we could use some of those. Probably in here. But because of the angle, I'm just going to do them backwards. Which does give you a more blunt end, but like I said, I don't want to stick my head in the camera. And I'm going to do a lot less. I'm only going to do a few. That should be fine. Like I said, this gives me a chance to spin something out in there. Right. Put another loop in here, and I think we'll call it a day. Yeah. That's probably my favorite move all night. I feel like it can go further out too. Let's see. Let's just see. Maybe you can see that far. Yeah. You can see till about right here. So we can fake it and not cross that yet and see what that looks like. Alright, so I'm going to develop the top of the wheat part. And then I'm going to draw a very thin line connecting into this. Oh, I crossed it. It's too late. I can live with that. So much so that I'm going to do another one. And I just stuck my finger in that one. But you know what? I can go over it. All right. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. We had some struggles there, folks. We were going through some problems with it. But I feel like there is progress in the design. The way I make these, the way these are, they're supposed to be busy. So if you're gonna be like, hey, it's a little busy, yeah, I know it's a little busy. That's kind of the idea. It's gonna be extremely busy, but it's still tasteful. You know, I could do like a single pretty scroll and just leave it, but I think folks get excited to see something that's over the top. Generally, the clean stuff, we'll leave that for the customers. We'll leave that for the folks that want it tastefully done. But when you're at the house, go over the top. Why not? It's a way to be seen. It's a way to really show your talent. It's a way to really apply what you've learned to a single design and see what works, see what doesn't work. You know, clearly a lot didn't work this time. So again, folks, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the museum exhibition that's going to be happening from the 11th through the 27th at the Butler Museum in Youngstown, Ohio. And I should be able to make it up there at some point, so I'll keep you all posted. I plan on sharing as much information as I can about it. So far, there's no flyer that I could see. There's not a whole lot of promotional stuff that I could see, so I'm just going to make my own video about it and see what sort of information I could put out there into the world. So that should be an upcoming video very soon. So thank you all very much. Have a good day, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.